What's up, guys? Dr. Mo here, digital nomad physician at digitalnomadphysician.com. So, all right, welcome to another episode. It's been a minute and I've been busy. I've been busy in a good way. Let me update you guys on some consulting stuff because I know a lot of you are interested in consulting, and consulting work is a great way for you to make connections, learn more skills, and just feel a little bit more secure being a physician because you suddenly have more opportunities to make an income than just from being a physician from clinical medicine. So one of the things that I do is I am pretty active on LinkedIn, and I think that's a great place to be. LinkedIn is more professional in many ways, while maybe on Twitter you find a lot of people who have a bit more ego, and so I think they get into these battles and fights a lot more, kind of turf territory type stuff. And maybe on Instagram, you see a lot more of that kind of beautification of everything, and everything's got to be picture perfect. I haven't been on a lot of other platforms, but Facebook, maybe a little bit more kind of social, family. LinkedIn, on the other hand, is really B2B, business to business. So you got somebody who's a decision maker looking for a resource that is good for them, that they can try to use and utilize to improve their business, to improve their reach, to make more money, to be more successful. For me, I don't spend an excessive amount of effort on LinkedIn. So I have a professional presence on there. And I think if you check out my LinkedIn profile, you'll appreciate it. But I make connections with people that I think are interesting, that are doing things that I am interested in, that I find are in line with my interests, but also what I see in the future of healthcare. So if I see that, for example, ambient voice technology is going to be the next big thing in healthcare, well, I may be wrong, but I'm also going to have the same thoughts about 10 other things. So I pursue these 11 things. And over time, some of it is going to pan out, some of it is not. If I continue connecting with these people and following what the thought leaders are doing in this space, then suddenly I have some content that I can also share on my LinkedIn page. For example, I might go and follow somebody who's talking about ambient technology using ChatGPT's, backbone, OpenAI, and somebody else who's talking about like local hardware or something. But it might also just be something much more simple, like the clinical difficulty of a orthopedic surgeon going in and out of several rooms, and for the ambient technology to pick that up and still be able to create a proper SOAP note. So I might find that really interesting, and I might have some thoughts to share. And that's really what I spend my time doing, is sharing my opinions and impressions based on what I read from a clinician's perspective. Of course, I have an interest in this. So if you don't have an interest in this, it's not something that you have to do, but I'm interested in it. So I will write something like a small post on my LinkedIn page. That's a lot like Facebook from what I can tell. Or I might write a much more detailed article. I might share somebody's article that I think is interesting and then write my own information, or write my own opinion on it. And just a little. I don't think you need a lot. It's especially important to not be obsessively optimistic or very pessimistic, because that's going to rub people the wrong way. For example, if you read an article about how healthcare is becoming more monetized and there's a lot of burnout in medicine, you could say, yeah, look at how they're treating us. But instead, you could say that if we don't have enough regulation of the healthcare industry, then unfortunately the patient is going to experience higher bills and the physicians are going to have more burnout. And that's going to worsen the gap of patient and physician care. One option is to actually put more effort into providing direct primary care physicians or private practice physicians with more resources and maybe help them overcome the hurdles of starting a practice. That might be something, again, depends on what you're interested in, right? If you're into policy and stuff, that would be something worthwhile to post and share your opinions on. So from these kind of things that I've posted over time, so some of the asynchronous technology that I've been interested in, some of the healthcare access, non-traditional healthcare access, so outside of the clinic, I have had different people reach out to me. So sometimes it's a headhunter who's looking for a chief medical officer, chief clinical officer, clinical advisor, medical advisor, or it might be a CEO, often it's a CEO, who reaches out to me and says, I really like what you're writing. I was wondering if I could pick your brain about it. And then that person reaches out to me. We have a couple of conversations and they say, I think you might be a good fit for us. Would you be interested in this project? Would you be interested in consulting for us? Would you be interested in XYZ? So then I hop on a call. So recently with a company that has been pretty successful in the asynchronous health space, I would say maybe over the past few years. And I've kind of followed them peripherally. They reached out to me and said, hey, look, we're looking for somebody who can do this particular clinical thing with our company. And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but we chatted back and forth with the CEO. I got a sense of what it is that they're doing. I talked to the chief medical officer. I talked to the owner of the company, actually. And then we decided, yeah, I might be a good fit. And maybe here are some ideas that I could implement. So the next step was for me to sort of get together with a bigger team. And then finally, they offered me a position. And so then next came the negotiation of how much should I charge? And I've talked about that in previous articles that I've written at digitalnomadphysician.com and on this YouTube channel. Basically ways that you can try to negotiate a good salary and how to start that conversation, right? That's pretty important. If you need help with that, you can always consult me. You can go to digitalnomadphysician.com/consult and you can book a session with me and I can help you navigate that and figure that out. But I will tell you that all of that information is available to you for free. Check out the podcast, check out the blog posts and this YouTube channel. So subscribe if you're interested to find out more about this. Once we agree on an hourly price, then we can decide how to move forward. Now, sometimes I like to do just hourly and I charge them a certain amount. And other times I will say that I will do a fixed monthly rate. Now, some people have different names for that. The retainer model might be something you're familiar with. So somebody will hire me at $10,000 a month they're going to pay me $10,000 a month every single month. That will include, let's say, 100 hours. That might include 20 hours. That might include, depending on your hourly rate. Once those hours are up, and if I'm putting more than that time into it, I will charge them extra. The nice thing about that is I will then carve out those, 20 hours a week or a month and leave it aside for that company. And I'm not going to take on any other projects. And if that's something that's important to the company, and quite a few companies have been actually interested in that and they pay me that way. In the past, have paid me that way. But others are like, why don't we start hourly and then go from there? So other options I give them for pricing is, look, I'm going to charge you, $250 an hour for these on and off projects. Once it's something more consistent and we're working together regularly, I'll drop it down to 225 or 200. And if we agree on some sort of let's say, a retainer, I can drop my hours down to $175 an hour. So again, be open to negotiation and stuff. Another company that reached out to me is doing something super interesting, and they found me and they said, "Yeah, we like what you're posting, what you're writing. We thought we would just run this idea by you and see if it's something that piques your interest." And they didn't say anything about what position they had in mind for me. I'm like, sure, of course, I'm totally open to the conversation. So we chatted, and then they had some ideas, and they're like, we went back and forth with one of the chief investors and one of the CEOs. And that was really fun. It was really fun to just bounce ideas back and forth, and they thought I would be a good fit. So they're going to have me on as a consultant as well. I mean, the point is you can find a lot of these kind of companies by just being open, being present, and then they will likely reach out to you, and that's how you make the connection. The next steps is to just be open to having conversations. Remember, you don't have to be an expert. I'm no expert. I'm 45 years old. I'm a family medicine physician. I went to a normal medical school, normal residency. I didn't do anything exceptional, but I have insight into the practice of medicine more than anybody else, right? I've practiced in a large medical group, in private medical groups, in low-income clinics, free clinics, HMOs. I've been an urgent care doctor. I've worked in the ER. I've worked in family medicine clinics. So there's a lot of insight that I have, and they are paying you for that insight that you have. They don't need you to have this extraordinary MBA type experience. But at the same time, they're paying you to be able to communicate your thoughts properly, to be able to digest information and then, spit out something that makes sense. So anyway, those are some ways that I've been able to, get some good traction with my consulting work. And I hope that that's something, if it interests you, that you can achieve something very similar. As always, if you can be present also in some other channel, like a YouTube channel like this, it helps, because if they find you on YouTube and they're like, okay, I really like this guy seems professional, then they're even more likely to hire you. All right, guys, I hope that's helpful. Check me out at digitalnomadphysician.com. Take care.